And you are live. Welcome everybody to Power Half Hour. Let's play pinball. The reason it's Power Half Hour today, if you saw on Twitter, goats, which are known as scape artists, were kind of wandering around my backyard. My goats. Anyway, um, so let's just quick recap of where we are, and then we'll play some pinball. And as of right now, I believe other than over here, we're at all-time highs here. I don't remember what the all-time closing high was. It was in the 30s. I think the intraday before today was 43 or something. I have it marked down somewhere. And so, long story short, we're near all-time highs. I put a little check mark here because that was the target this morning. Of course, it was if then. It wasn't the target if we had broken below, whatever, but that was what was in the cards based on the profile we saw in the morning that we went over and discussed right here on live stream on YouTube and on Twitter. So let's take a quick look at the profile that we had this morning, what's going on now, and kind of how we derived this, and quick, simple how we derived it. Once we got over the 6120 area, we had that little pullback, held 6,000, 6110, which was a pivot point. And then we just kind of stair stepped up through the market maker short gamma, got stuck in the weeds here at the market maker long gamma. 40 was the big strike and still is, and let's see if they hold the line there. Okay, so now with that said, and here's where we are. But let me go back to the dashboard and look at the positioning, and we'll see what positioning has changed, if any. Okay, so this is what I'm talking about. This is market makers short, customer long. And you see how we ate through that? That's pretty uncommon, but if we look at this. We're in this big blue zone here. We're in this big zone of market maker positive gamma, but it seems that the market's not really caring. Now it looks like we got some of the overheads short calls sold. Looks like there was short calls at 60.50. So that might have taken some of the pressure off. You see the little tail there? 61.50. So that tail means that they're no longer there. There were plenty there this morning, 4,000, and now they're not there. So that's taking a little pressure off, maybe. The drop in IV is taking a little pressure off, maybe. But we're chewing through this. That's all I can say. I'll come up with some, trying to figure out post hoc how we chew through it, other than we have the whole complex. This is not just, this is zero DTE, and there's a whole complex, and we're kind of stuck here. And let's take a look now at Charm. So here was the Charm profile in the beginning of the day, and there were had a few paths. Most people in the morning when we played pinball were thinking 61, 20, 30. But then once we got over, and I showed it to you before, over that 6110 heading toward the 6120. Once we got, I'll have to go back to the dashboard. I'm sorry. I need to have two of these open so I can go back and forth more easily. So in the morning, just quick, what the morning setup was, we had the 6105 market maker long support resist. We had this kind of bounce zone over here. So if over here, this draws us up to stall around the 25 area, which is where we were supposed to stall, quote unquote, with the 25 and the 30, with all this stuff here. But We just kind of ground through it. Now, there's such a thing as real money buying. So somebody, hedge funds, whatever, money can eat through this, but not by much. Also targeting these calls at 6150, scalping, whatever it is. And so now let's get back to. So here's the heat map. We already talked about that. So let's get to the charm where the action is going to be. And it looks like we're sliding right into this glide path right here. So is there anybody on, by the way, or am I talking to myself? Say hi over there if you're on YouTube or Twitter, wherever you are. And again, I don't mind talking to myself. I like my cover. There we go. Hey, Brad. There we go. Oh, whoa, okay. The gang's all here. Okay. Okay. Brad, you still hold on to you still have that fly? My boy Brad here had a fly centered at 45, I think. I had a 35. No, he has. I think he has a centered at 40. I had a 35, 45, 55. When we started like losing steam here, I guess took the money in a 210 out of three something. And see now it looks like we can end up. So the rule of thumb, although doesn't have to happen, is this is suppressive. The market maker's long strike is suppressive. We're not supposed to, quote unquote, end up on a market maker long strike. And here it's supportive to decay from beneath. And now it looks like we're heading right in there. So if people had call spreads, iron condors, and they sat it out, trusting the levels, and sat through fake pain, they're feeling pretty good right now. If you closed out, and I closed some out at a small loss, that's okay too. You follow whatever your risk management is, whatever your signals are to get in and out. And that's kind of where we are. So let's play pinball. Anybody got any? Oh, look at that. All right, Brad. That's my man. 50 grand. That sounds like a double where I come from. Wait, weren't you the one that said that you suck at pins? I guess you're getting better. Maybe all this, when we do it every day, it becomes intuitive every once in a while. I dare I say it becomes quant-intuitive. Ooh, look at that. Right there at the 6137.5 mark. Right in here. Excuse me. Now, I'm not sure what it would take to push us down below 35, 6140. Well, I consider it if you close it out at a win, then you no longer suck. 6128. So 6128 is betting for us getting right below the 30. That's what it would take. What it would have to take for that to happen. And what's going on at 30? That's not a crazy thing to say. Did they fix this yet? Oh, it looks like they fixed it. Yeah. Well, maybe not. Hold on. Good. If I have two, that'll make life easier. Something is screwy. Looks like it's stuck on the wrong date. This is the beta, whatever it is. Let's try one more time. If not, we'll just go back there. The staging, I guess you techies call it. No, I guess this. I guess they're doing work on the staging area, whatever that means. Rolling out new features, I suppose. Next time, I'll just open up another iteration. Oh wait, do I have it? No, okay. So, and the reason I did all this was the to just talk about that 20 pin idea or whatever it was 27. That would mean that we get below this 30, and we have right now the hedging. We go up a little, they sell. We go down a little, they buy, because all this has to, the deltas have to balance out. So somebody said 35 is a pin or 36, whatever. 35, 36. And that's kind of right in here. Again, that's not a crazy. Let me see if the markers are going to show up or if it's too late to put them on. Yeah, no, that doesn't look good. Never mind. Never mind. That looks like crap. For some reason, it shows up better somewhere else than it does here. I have to talk to. And so, where's price? Right here, stuck between this, stuck between this. So that 35-ish, between 30 and 40. I think for pinball, it's okay to say between 30 and 40, to give the pin's going to be here 35. But we can go with 37.5. We can go with whatever we want. But basically, we want to pick which strikes we're between. Now let's switch it to gamma, which will give us a clearer view of what's actually going on rather than position size. Okay, so when we look at gamma, not position size, there's that suppressive flow from above, but not by much because it's sticky. As soon as we move away, they have to buy again. So the 40 and the 45s. And we have this flow from here that's that's somewhat supportive. As we go down, they have to buy again. And so part of the story is there going to be some big rash of buying of 6150 out of the money calls or something to pull us up? Uh, Excuse me, there's also whatever's going on with individual names and like real money buying. But look at how it's sticking to that. That's impressive. You can't make this up. You cannot make this up. Yeah, we overshot it by like 2 or 3 points at one point today. What was the high there? 44, I think, 44 and change. But now we're just floating between those zones. Oh, and the vet's coming at 4:30. Oh, yeah. Now, another thing, now let's be on whale watch today. Hold on 1 second. I'm going to try something. Now, I'm expecting the whale to surface today. Oh, what do I mean by whale watch? Okay, so there's a trader that we call the IC whale, Iron Condor whale. Some people call him Captain Condor, who sells iron condors, and if he loses, he uses a Martin. Yeah, the IC whale, right? He loses, but just in case people don't know, I'll just go through it. If he loses, and he does, then he uses a martingale simulation where you just up your bet the next time. And there's some standard martingale progressions. He uses a progression that when I look at the contracts, I kind of know his progression. I'm actually working on a progression I like better that I will roll out probably in July and be open to a select number of subscribers. He charges $5,000 a month for that, a year for that. I'm going to charge a lot less if I roll it out. I'm still not sure, but anyway, I'm only going to roll it out if I can get it to my satisfaction. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. So let's take a look. I want to look at what his. Why does this look wrong? So it's going to be one DTE is what he'll do it after the close. It's typically a 27 delta, 20 delta ish that he sells. So he would be selling something like that. Let's see if he shows up. And 20-ish delta on the bottom. Oh, that's 6,100. Isn't that a nice coincidence? Something like that. He tends to be more aggressive. He tends to go for a third the width of the spread or even more. So he might just go for the 6,100. Whatever his formula is. I don't know how much discretion he leaves or if it's like he's going to probably do something like that. Actually, he might even be 6,105. He's going to be pretty much at the expected move. The expected move is 33, 35. He's going to be there. I'm going to put one in for science. Really, I should wait till after the close because we can move a lot, but I'm impatient. Now, just remember, this is five wide, and so 140, you lose 350, so it's a 1 to 3 kind of thing. Okay, so 61. All right, now that I finished playing IC Whale, and we'll see if he's there again at the end of the day. Now that I finished playing IC Whale, let's go back to the game that we're playing now, which is pinball. So you see, look at that. Look at that glide path right there, path of least resistance. That yellow line is where the math says we're supposed to go. Right in the zone. And those 6140s, they're holding on, aren't they? Well, I would say 6139. We generally don't close on the market maker short strike. So it could be 6139 at 50 cents. Market on close. I didn't see the market on close. If anybody else did, let me know. Let me look on my other PC on my laptop and see. See if I can find the market on close somewhere. If anybody else has it. Anybody have market on close? Oh, here we go. Market on close. 1.6 billion to buy. Okay, 1.6 billion might be able to eat through that. We got 1.6 billion to buy, ladies and gentlemen. At this level, now we're first buying. That 1.6 billion is institutional money, right? Now look at that. Look at that. They stabbed it with their steely knives, but they just can't kill the beast, huh? I wish I had a better way to see flow or volume coming in, but I don't. My brother has it. See, look at but what we can, no, we I don't have deltas on this either. Here you see VIX dropping. Out of the money option prices are 2.9, so 2.6. So basically, well, we still have a little time, but the options market's pricing in $2.50 move from here. Total out of the money prices. We expected move. That was just the expected move in the morning. That really isn't telling us anything. And that's it. Looks like 50, right? Round number 50. Why not? Let me see this one here. Oh, Boom is pretty good too. When you say 30 and 50, those are your centers? A center 50 could do fine. All right, let me remove this drawing. And if the whale comes, like I expect he will, I will put my little whale icons on the chart. What other toys do I have to amuse you with? Let's take a look at uh, big volume on the 25 VIX calls for August. Buyers or sellers? Anybody have a guess? 2016. Let's take a look at SPX, but this lags. Now, there's a way to see the flow better in options depth, but I'm not sure how to do it. right, this is the one that doesn't work, right? All right. Look at that. We're going where no man has gone before. I always get sleepy at this time of day. I don't understand why. I'm usually up at 4:30 or 5 a.m. In theory, we should end up here. Come on, guys. No, let's take a peek at the landscape for tomorrow while we're at it. We have 5 minutes, so we can kind of be somewhat forewarned. Specific Friday. Computer sticking. Keep hitting the wrong. Is it fascinating watching me do this? Let's see what's going on for tomorrow. When we looked in the morning, it was a frog in a blender pattern or Christmas tree. It's looking a little more defined now. If, if that's tomorrow, that looks. Yeah, I have the right date. And that's another thing I've noticed. Just I've noticed. I don't know if there's a science behind it, possibly. We also tend to, if you look at the next day, that can sometimes help you zero in on where we're going to land. So the real question is, 50 is the conversation now. Didn't think we'd be having a 6150 conversation, but we are. In what? What are things looking like for tomorrow? So here's tomorrow. So let's just pretend that we start off with S&P at 6140. So the first hurdle obviously is getting over these calls here. We have this zone. These kind of back and forth flyish looking zones are good places to chop. Stall at 70. We got go to there and stall out up there. The downside tomorrow looks like some people have quite a pair, and they're selling 6125 for tomorrow even. I mean, I'm looking for profits all the time. But the trade that I put in, the IC Whale Clone Trail trade, well, the IC Run Front Run trade is 1 DT. So Okay, 1 minute to go. Get your wagers placed. Do the 40s win it? Oh, 40, 58, 41, 42. So all those 61, 50, 55 calls people sold and sweated through, if you held on, congratulations. Next thing I like to do, upcoming day. So you see all that white up here, free to move around the cabin. 6150 is sort of the supportish area. 4050 on top. The if then over under could easily be right here. It doesn't have much effect into the close. Well, that's the charm. Let's see what charm for tomorrow looks like. You can get a good idea where the glide paths are for, with charm. And see, there's just lots of holes. All right, Brad. Glad you held on, brother. Glad you held on. And that's the thing about flies, you get a nice convex return. So, if you put it on for $2 and and if you hit a few of them, it makes up for the losses. Especially if you do them like tighter, for 50 cents or a buck. Let me check my other computer and see if we have a whale. Let me ask my buddy who's got a really easy way of seeing it. Okay, so how did everybody do today? Institutions be looking for profit. Well, let me reframe that from a different point of view, but similar, but Goldman Sachs flow expert, I don't know if it's Rubner or whoever it is, probably not Rubner, but you never know, is that hedge funds rebalance all that kind of stuff have to, yikes, have to sell. I forgot what the number was. I have it in my note. X billions. I think Gamma Lab had it in their note too. A 1.5 billion net supply. U.S. pensions amount to sell 26 billion of equities quarter end to rebalance. So I wish they would. I'll be honest with you. I wish they would. Meanwhile, as I see what coming, we don't see him. Okay, we don't see him, so now I'm doing my lone IC whale. That's fine. A one lot I'm not really concerned about. Okay, my brother's calling on the other line, so let me just answer the phone. And okay, I'm just finishing up the live stream here on Twitter and on YouTube, but the day is over, and I might as well say goodbye to the folks on YouTube and Twitter and talk to you, my brother Binkus. Okay, okay, everybody, goodbye. So who won the pin? Who won the pin? Let me see. Where did we close? I don't even have it. Oh yeah, and the Binkus band levels. Hold on, let me do this. Let me show up for those. Yeah, I'm going to show them. For those of you that don't know, my brother Binkus has his own secret sauce based on volatility, and as you can see, and it's a band. 6142 was projected to be the top, and we closed at 6141.02. So 98 cents, of course. That's, this is precision bombing. That was sarcasm in case. All right, so the level, so that's the only level I have here. That was the 130 level. That was the 130 level. And that was also the level projected in the game plan and my thing. Everybody saw the 6140, even though they sweated it out a little bit. Okay, bye, everybody. Like, retweet, comment, all that stuff helps. I appreciate you guys. And see you tomorrow for the Friday wrap. Well, Friday morning game plan. Take care.